असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the participants joining us today. I am CMA Pragya, and it is my pleasure to co host this session along with CMA Dr. Aditi Das Gupta from the SSB department. On behalf of the organizing team, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each one of you to the 42nd webinar of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series on the topic Earthy Weddings Embracing the Circular Economy. Today's session will show how weddings can be both meaningful and sustainable when we make thoughtful choices. An earthy wedding proves that beauty and responsibility can go together. We are truly honored to have with us an eminent speaker, Miss S.C. Sharda Ma'am, who has graciously agreed to share her valuable insight and expertise on this important theme. Before we move ahead, it's my privilege to invite CMA Dr. Aditi Das Gupta Ma'am to take this session forward. But first, allow me to briefly introduce her. CMA Dr. Aditi Das Gupta is an accomplished finance professional with over 16 years of experience across diverse functional areas. She currently serves as Joint Director at the ICMI, where she contributes to several strategic and operational initiatives of the institutes. Dr. Das Gupta holds a PhD in corporate governance and is qualified CMA, CS, and MBA gold medalist in finance. She also holds certifications in forensic audit in SAP FICO. With that, I now invite CMA Dr. Aditi Das Gupta ma'am to take the proceedings forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pragya. On behalf of everybody of the Sustainability Standards Board of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you, everyone, present here for the 42nd webinar of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series. We are truly honored and privileged to have with us Ms. S.C. Sharda ma'am. And the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam webinar series truly embodies the philosophy of one earth, one family, one future. And through these interactive sessions, we aim to promote the principles of sustainability, responsible governance, and social well-being in every sphere of life. Today's session is on a beautifully thought-provoking theme, as Pragya just said, earthy weddings embracing circular economy. Weddings, as we know, are the moments of joy and celebration. However, there are also events where resource consumption, waste generation, and environmental footprints tend to be high. The concept of earthy or sustainable weddings brings a refreshing shift, one that integrates eco-friendliness, mindful choices, and circular economy principles into the most cherished human celebration. The circular economy model emphasizes minimizing waste and maximizing the resource use by rethinking, reusing, recycling, and regenerating. When applied to weddings, it transforms the event into a celebration of both love and sustainability through eco-conscious decor, sustainable fashion, local sourcing, minimal waste catering, and digital invitations, among the others. We are truly delighted, as I have told, to have with us as our distinguished speaker, Ms. S.C. Sharda, a practicing company secretary, who has made remarkable contributions in a professional field and has been actively promoting sustainability-oriented practices in governance and business. Ms. S.C. Sharda ma'am is a company secretary and a law graduate with over 30 years of corporate experience. Before establishing her own firm in 2006, she served as company secretary and legal counsel at the Buller India Private Limited, a Swiss MNC in Bangalore. Our firm now provides comprehensive corporate secretarial, legal, and governance services to startups, MNCs, JVs, and NGOs, with the focus on Companies Act, FEMA, Startup Advisory, CSR, and secretarial audits. She is an independent director on the boards of EMMV Photovoltaic Power Limited, Malabar Gold and Diamonds Limited, and Raichur Power Corporations Limited, and also serves as the resident director at the Mimecast India Private Limited. A distinguished Toastmaster, an alumni of IIM Bangalore, she holds a master's ESG and has been the first woman chairman of the Bangalore chapter ICSI. Claps. Passionate about social causes, she serves as the managing trustee of Matru Foundation and advisory board member of Vonisha Foundation. A cancer victor, Sharda ma'am is an inspiring speaker and writer who publishes Samhita, a fortnightly e-newsletter featuring regulatory updates for over 16 years. I'm sure we are going to have a great thought-provoking session with ma'am. It's really my honor to read your profile and welcome you at this podium, ma'am. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Aditi, for that wonderful introduction and also setting the context. I think almost 50% of my presentation is done because of the apt context setting. It makes a huge difference. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I mean, we are really honored, and I was feeling great when I was just reading your introduction. Great, ma'am. Great. Kudos to you. Stage is all yours.
Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Is this in the presentation mode?
Not yet.
No.
No, ma'am. You have to double click it.
I am actually. What about now?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Only that folder is being seen, but your PPT is not.
Okay. I had kept everything ready, but this is how it plays out.
It's okay, ma'am.
Yeah, when we think we are ready. Yeah, let me.
Yes, it has come.
Now it's there?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the little hiccup. So good afternoon, everyone. We started with a wonderful, soulful rendering of your anthem. I had not heard your institute anthem. I have had joint sessions with ICMA Institute in Bangalore when I was the chairman, but I don't know when this was introduced, this anthem. It's really very, very apt. So I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, our sister institute. I represent the Company Secretaries Institute, and the Central Council members, and in particular the Sustainability Standards Board, Dr. Aditi Das Gupta, Pragya. And also I would like to take a moment to recall that this invite and a request for me to speak came from Dr. Ranjit Krishnan, who was with our institute earlier. I met him a few months back in IIM Bangalore in a program, and he said, they have this, you have this initiative and I must speak. Honestly, let me confess, friends, I'm not an expert in this subject as such, but I have a personal experience. And when Ranjit insisted that I must make an attempt to share some experience, I thought this is the best topic because circular economy and the initiatives under that is something very close to my heart. And wherever we have a personal experience, if we share, I think the learnings are best delivered. I would also like to take a moment to appreciate the very apt title or title that all of you have chosen together for this series, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's such a beautiful combination of words. Our philosophy from our ancient scriptures, from our Upanishads, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means the whole world is one. That word, combination of the word itself gives us so much peace, so much joy that all of us together, there is a feeling of oneness. Why this is more important is today's, if you see, we live in a VUCA world. We live in so much of chaos. There is so much of uncertainty. Every day there is something new happening, something drastic happening, whether it's a natural calamity or a man-made calamity, whether it is the tariffs, whether it is the war, whether it is the geopolitical situation. When you are in such a difficult world, challenging world, I think sustainability is very, very, very critical. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this philosophy, this feeling of oneness is very, very crucial for this. So with these few words, I would like to start my presentation on early weddings, embracing circular economy. Dr. Aditi Das Gupta has already given a beautiful context. I just want you all to enjoy this scene because I want to take you to this scene of wedding. Obviously, all of you know it's a celebration of love and union. It's also a lot more than this. Were it to be an interactive session, maybe I would have asked you some questions on what comes to mind when you think of wedding. Obviously, happiness. Some of them are not moving. Happiness. These are the broad themes I can think of when you look at wedding. Happiness is a given. Obviously, you find your right partner or you think that you found your right partner. There is joy, there is happiness between the couple and everyone around. And we all wish that they live happily ever after. That's always a question mark. Those of us who are married, we know that, but that's on a lighter note. But this is something which is key. Happiness is the key to an event like a wedding, which is supposed to be a once in a lifetime event. Then you look at celebrations. There are different kinds of celebrations which happen. And today, friends, all of you will agree that there is so much of spending on celebrations, on clothes, on jewelry, on people, on transport, on logistics, on food, on so many things that celebrations today has gone so many notches up. And there is a lot of spending which is happening here. I think this is where we need to be more conscious and more mindful about what we exactly mean by celebrations. So do you think marriages have to be only at this grand scale and only then there is celebration? While I'm not saying we should not have this because this fuels a huge economy, as you will see in the future slides, but I want to take a step back and share with all of you. I live in Bangalore. I come from the state of Karnataka, and we have had in the past a very renowned poet and a writer called Dr. K.V. Puttappa. He is fondly known as Kuvempu. Those of you who are joining from Bangalore or Karnataka will be able to relate to whom I'm speaking about. But he was a Padma Vibhushan and a Jnanapith Award winner. You know what he said? His message was Vishwa Manava Sandesh. That means universal man's message. The whole concept of, like you had Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series, he came out, he advocated the concept of Vishwamanava. That means there is a universal man, there are no barriers, no caste, no creed, nothing, and this feeling of oneness which was there. And he had promoted one kind of wedding called Mantra Mangalya, which means there are no priests, there are no chantings, there are no Vedic rituals. There is a celebration, people come together, but he had advocated many decades ago a minimalist wedding. That means you just have about 10 people each from the bride and the groom side. They come together and they take oath. Wow, but what they do is they read out a message of Vishwamanava. And this was the weddings which was there. I know this from one of my close family friends who hails from the same village where Dr. Kuvempu lived. And he used to say most of the weddings back then used to happen like that, where the expenditure was very minimum. It had celebrations. But today, the truth is all of that is shunned. And there are celebrations galore and people overspend, they spend beyond their means to make sure that this is Instagram worthy. I think that's where we are heading to. Of course, traditions have always been a part of our weddings and they add a lot of joy and gaiety. And what is an event without delicacies? Right? You have so many languages, so many cuisines in India that each type of wedding you can have different kind, each event in the wedding and each type of wedding from different regions, you have different things to eat. So basically, this is all about celebrations, traditions, gaiety, food, spending, and everything. This is what comes to our mind when we think of wedding as an event. But what else? Look at these byproducts. Quite a grim one, right? Have you ever thought of the kind of waste that is generated? I have just summed it up into three. There's plastic waste, there is food waste, there is decor waste. Broadly, these are the three waste. If you think that we generate this is part of the event, without the event, the economy doesn't get fuel, somebody doesn't get a job, somebody else doesn't have a business to carry on. But we also have to think of what is the responsibility that we carry. Just look at these statistics. It's quite grim. Today, India's wedding, which was supposed to be a very intimate family affair, is called wedding industry. There's a lot of statistics about how many weddings happen in India. Supposed to be at least 10 million weddings. And you can see, you constantly keep seeing reports on what kind of destinations are being set up, what kind of jewelry is available, what kind of clothing and accessories are available. Everybody has a niche on their own. So you have about 10 million weddings per year. The market size is a staggering 11 trillion. 11 trillion, I don't even know how many zeros. You are all cost accountants. I think you know the number of zeros, but this is the staggering number. Contrast this with what's the kind of food waste value? $14 billion. And this is the statistics which I also had from some of the report I'm going to share later. While all this is at a macro level, look at the waste which is being generated per wedding. It is anywhere from 800 is the wet waste and 1500 kg is the dry waste, if we are thoughtful and mindful of being able to segregate. And the carbon emissions, it's about 250 tons CO2 emissions per wedding, right? So we are dealing with something as massive as this. So I felt it is very important that at an individual level, each one of us must contribute towards this to make sure that we are managing this better. Like we continue to have the celebrations. I'm not saying no to celebrations, but can we balance both? Let me go to sustainable development goals. See, I'm not going to just talk about wedding or how to, conduct a wedding. Each one of us can come up with different ideas. We can be creative. But the topic is how do we embrace circular economy? So I must go to sustainable development goals and sustainability standards board series. All of you are pretty familiar with the 17 SDGs which UN has come up with, and most of the countries who have signed up are supposed to be working towards this, whether it is Viksit Bharat or it is 2030 or it is carbon emission reduction, your neutral, net neutral, all of this will be under this overall theme. From this, let me pick up 3 SDGs. I thought if this was a presentation where we were talking about some case study of some industry or of some company or of some sector, I'm sure instead of saying citizen social responsibility, I would have used the word EPR. That is extended producer responsibility. What is extended producer responsibility? It is a responsibility on the producers, manufacturers, brand owners, importers to make sure that the products which they are generating, which they are manufacturing, which they are importing and trading, there is a responsible end of life cycle management, because the entire life cycle, right from the raw material sourcing till the time it is disposed of, instead of just going to landfills, how it is being managed. That's the EPR. There is a regulation around that, but today it's not a technical topic. I'm not going to that. So I was wondering, if I look at myself, if we look at all of ourselves as citizens who have some EPR, then what is this? We can call it citizen social responsibility. While CSR is corporate social responsibility, I feel personally all of us have a responsibility. Let us pick up SDG 11. Sustainable cities and communities. If you go and Google, you will say 2030, what is to be achieved. But I thought, let me put out what we can do at our own level. We can support sustainable urban living. We can use sustainable transportation, reduce waste and promote recycling, create green spaces, make our home sustainable with the choice of things that we want to buy, community cleanups, and advocate for inclusive urban policies. Broadly, this is what we can do. What can we do as responsible consumption and production participants? This is also SDG. This is something we can do. Shop mindfully. While there are mega and billion-dollar sales, Amazon, you have Flipkart, you have Zomato, you have everyone coming and asking you to buy. There is a shopping frenzy, right? Especially we are in the festival season. So whether you want it or not, the whole feed that comes to you in your social media, in your mobiles, in your laptops is asking you to buy, whether you require it or not. So can we be a little bit more mindful and say, do I really need this or not? So can we shop mindfully? Can we cut down on the food waste? Can we eat everything which is on our plate? Can we take only the food that we require? For example, in many places I have seen, including IIM Bangalore canteen, there is a very big prominent board which says what was the waste generated, what was the food waste which is generated. So these figures constantly keep reminding us that we must be mindful of how much portion we take on our plate, what we eat, and what we throw away. So there are many ways in which you can do this. Cut down on food waste, save energy and water, choose sustainable transport, which is already there. How do we use eco-friendly products? Today, thanks to technology, I think you have on most platforms, there are many people, especially startups, which have eco-friendly products. There are stores, there are available online. It's all the choice that you have to make. And what kind of practices that you build to live sustainably. Climate action, we think it is only for the governments. We think it is only in, you have somewhere in Paris, you have some climate action, or you have in Rio de Janeiro or some other country, or Davos, you have a meeting of all the state heads and they talk about climate action. But is it not our responsibility as well? It cannot be their responsibility and not ours. It is a collective responsibility to reduce carbon footprint, save energy, again, eat sustainability, and then look at how do you reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's the mantra. How do you support nature, conserve water, make conscious consumer choices? So if you look at all of this, there are enough hacks, enough cues to tell you how, as citizens, we can live responsibly in our society. Now let's move to circular economy. That's the topic, right? Now, what is linear economy? It is a simple economy of where you take something, you make something, you dispose. Just you produce or you buy or you produce, you sell, make money, and you dispose of. You have no responsibility. You don't know what happens after it is disposed. Where is it disposed? I think in the last 50 to 60 years, we have moved from we were responsible earlier. If you look at the way our grandparents used to live, to a large extent, our parents used to live, there was responsible living because there was no plastic, there was no consumerism. So though it was a linear economy, I would say it was a responsible economy. But today, this is at the heights. When you just take, make, and you dispose, you don't know what happens after that. Now look at what is circular economy. It is reuse, reduce, and recycle. This is circular economy. Most of us are aware of this. What does it do? It reduces the environmental impact because of the actions you take. Then it encourages innovation. If you see most of the products today, they have a high value. If you are able to come up, you are able to innovate and make sure that what you come up with as an innovated product is one of your main products in your company, or the existing product or process or system also is innovated to make sure it falls in line with the circular economy framework. It obviously helps combat climate change. It creates economic opportunities because the circular economy itself is an industry by itself, though it could be a part of a larger industry. It creates economic opportunities. Needless to say, it conserves natural resources. So all of this together make sure that if you're deploying the circular economy model. Now I'm talking more from a business point of view, but you saw in the previous slides, even at our own individual levels, how we can reuse, reduce, and recycle. What are the principles of circular economy? Now, where are we shifting? If you're looking at a shifting from linear economy to a circular economy, you look at the first one. It is designing out waste and pollution. The responsibility and the action and the initiative starts right in the beginning to design minimum waste and environmental impact. The kind of products that we produce, the kind of purchases that we make, it minimizes the waste and consequently it minimizes the environmental impact. So it starts at the designing stage. Make sure that it designs out the waste and it also designs out the pollution, because we are looking at the hard waste and also the emissions which come. Next, keep products and materials in use, which means just don't throw everything. You reuse it, see if you can repair, you refurbish, if you want, you recycle. There are many startups today which are in this space. They are also helping. It is both in the for-profit sector, it is also in the not-for-profit sector, and people are conscious about the choices they make. So when you do all this with the existing materials and products to extend their life cycle, like I said, it's a life cycle management responsibility. Now, regenerating natural systems. What should be the focus on? On renewable energy sources while returning the valuable nutrients to the ecosystems. So make sure that the kind of farming you do, the agricultural practices that we have, all of this, make sure that the nutrients is part of the ecosystem, nourishing the soil and restoring biodiversity. So we have limited time and I don't think the focus is on going into each of this, but broadly, if you see, circular economy principles is right from design and focus on the renewable energy, nourishing the soil, to how do we reuse, repair, refurbish, and make sure the existing products, they look nice, but they are repurposed with a heart. That's what circular economy is all about. Okay, I just want you to enjoy the music here. From here, the pictures, till now I had used some from the net, and a lot of pictures you saw was from AI because I didn't want to violate any copyright rights which were there. But from here, a lot of the pictures that I have used are from my son's wedding. And that's what I'm going to talk about, of what best practices that we had used. So enjoy this music for a while. This is the venue. After that soulful flute which was played, this was at the entrance of the wedding. Let's move into the specifics. This is more like a case study, my own experience that I'm sharing. It was a sustainable, minimal waste wedding. I would say a green wedding. I can't say no waste because there was waste, and I will give you what are the statistics. It's obviously a celebration of love and responsibility with the theme of embracing eco-friendly choices. What is a responsible wedding? There are many facets and aspects. And how did I think of this? Because when my son's wedding got fixed in 23, in the beginning of 2023, I happened to come across a beautiful YouTube posting by one of my fellow CFO forum members saying that how he had performed his son's wedding, uh, as a responsible wedding. I saw the whole thing. I already had this thought in my mind that this massive event that we are doing, we should give back something to Mother Earth. And then inspired by that, I started planning right in advance. So one is Sustainable Wedding Initiative. It was a low-cost, low-waste wedding in December 2023, and I also felt it was aligning with the Earth Day 2024's Planet versus Plastic theme. Now, broadly, what did we do? We had very strategic, eco-friendly planning. We spent a lot of time in planning internally. See, I am sure all of you will agree it's not my decision alone. The couple has to agree, the families from both sides has to agree. You'll also see that even guests have to be pre-informed and they must be made aware. It cannot be just one person's initiative. So extensive planning was required, mindset change was required. It started with the thoughtful choices in the venue. What kind of venue we chose, what was the month in which we performed the wedding, what kind of invitations we had, what was the decorations that we finally picked up, how was the catering managed, how was the waste which was generated managed. Then we managed all of this. At the end, we also realized that this was an initiative to promote community engagement among workers. And why is this word empowered being used for waste workers? You will see in the later slides. This was modeling the responsible celebration. Overall, it was environmental conservation along with happiness and celebrations. What did we do with the wedding? This exactly is the wedding, friends. And this is Shankara Foundation in Bangalore. It is not a resort, so you will find very undulated green spaces. You will find lot of trees. There are no manicured lawns. There's a beautiful stage, because this is basically a cultural foundation where they have cultural and dance programs, but it also is given out to weddings. It's a huge 3-acre space and a large spread of trees. So we picked a natural venue. Of course, the boy and girl, they wanted something in the open. They didn't want a closed kind of environment. But for me, it also aligned with my purpose of doing a environmental friendly wedding. So it was an open air, which gave us a green environment, and then it added to the charm. What was the sustainability benefits? Because it was natural setting, and also it was December, and all of you can be envious of the beautiful weather that Bangalore provides in December. Despite all the traffic, bad news about traffic that you hear, trust me, it's the best weather in the world, I would say. And in December, it is the best. So we didn't have to use fans. We didn't have to use AC. Nothing we had to use. It was just open, and everybody was feeling very, very comfortable. So artificial cooling costs were not there. Now it was aesthetic and comfortable. The venue combined beauty with comfort, featuring an open mandap, which I also told you. So this was the wedding setup that we had, and it was loved by everyone. Yes, this is something we really planned. What did we do when we are talking about green wedding or minimal waste wedding? We also have to see of the carbon footprint that we leave if we have to go and invite everybody. In India, I know wedding is such an important event in somebody's life. It is not just two people getting married. It is two families coming together, and we want to expand that network and call them and them and them, so many relatives, so many friends, everyone. And today, the kind of areas that we have to cover, obviously you can't reach out in person. So what we did was we just printed this card. It was just a postcard size. We didn't want anything fancy. We didn't want to spend money on this printing. And I would like all of you to focus at the end. I don't know whether you're able to read this, but we also printed something small. If you see this recycle, reuse symbol is also there, and we said we are attempting a minimum waste wedding. Please help us by avoiding bouquets and gift wrapping. So that was something, a clear no. We said don't get anything which you have to wrap. So in small little ways, we made sure that everybody is getting involved, and it's an inclusive initiative. So we just printed about 50, even 50 was not used. Only for the elders in the family, we went in person, made sure that we do not spend on fuel for this. Digital invitations went out, personal phone calls went out, WhatsApp went out, and we could reach about 2,000 to 3,000 guests. It was promoting both convenience and sustainability, and everybody appreciated. And most of our closer relatives who had thought of buying something in gift for us, they said, since you have told us not to give anything in gift wrapped, we'll make sure we will just do a digital transfer. So voluntarily, all of them contributed, and guests were encouraged to avoid plastic. So we did get a few gift wraps, we did get a few bouquets, but it was very, 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 very minimal if you look at any other wedding. So this is a very important initial initiative that we took. How was the decor? As you can see, it was flowers. These flowers also were something which were locally sourced. We didn't want to get any fancy exotic flowers from anywhere far. Whatever was available in and around Bangalore at that time in December, we had also told the decorator. We had lengthy conversations with her, meetings with her. We asked her to make a presentation on how is she going to help us fit into this theme. So she also had in mind that it has to be reuse, reduce, and recycle. So I wouldn't say we haven't used plastic, because in some cases it is good to have maybe something which can be reused, some plastic flowers or some flex, but it was minimized and we made sure everything was fresh. So plastic reduction focus was there, natural and local elements were there, and collaboration with eco vendors. So what did we do? There were many eco-conscious vendors. When you make up your mind, you also go and look out for vendors who align with your thought and they are able to help you. We made sure that it was a green decor and it was all with sustainable materials and practices. Even if there was a flex of plastic use, it could be reused somewhere else. So this is what we paid attention to when it came to the decor. I spoke about the venue choice. I spoke about the invitation card and digital invite. Now about the decor. This is what, if you see banana leaves, flowers, these copper vessels, all of them have some connection, some feeling towards Mother Earth. Next, this I really want to spend a little bit time on this. What is Adamya Chetana? Adamya Chetana is an NGO based out of Bangalore. It is run by Tejaswini Anant Kumar. Most of you will remember that Anant Kumar was our union minister. Unfortunately, he passed away due to an illness a few years back. But this initiative of theirs and their family is there in Bangalore for a very, very, very long time. It is an NGO which promotes many, many things. Out of this is also, they have something called a steel bank, cutlery bank they have. Now, I had heard firsthand from Dr. Tejaswini Anant Kumar when we had the Women's Day celebrations in Bangalore chapter. I had heard her, she had spoken about this. So when I was planning for my son's wedding, I said, instead of having again plastic plates or some throwaway cutlery, spoons, straws, tumblers, or even water bottles, all of you will agree in any event, especially in a wedding, the caterers, they are not willing to serve water. They will give you a package and say this water bottle cost is included in this, because they don't want to serve. They just give you this bottle. Everything is it's all adding up to the cost. Sometimes you even get a small 250 ml water bottle, which all of us just take 1 or 2 sips. We throw it there. You will see at the end of any event, so many water bottles thrown all around. There's a waste of water. Then there is a plastic waste adding to the landfill, and there is carrying costs. There are so many things. So I was very clear that we should minimize. So we avoided single-use plastics like bottles, straws, platelets. And what did we do? We served water in glass. So when we had a buffet, we asked him to get it in glass. And when it was a sit-down meal like we have in South India, where it is, we have a table, we have a chair, and there is a banana leaf on which the food is served, we had steel tumblers. And all of you are aware that banana leaves are biodegradable. So it promotes sustainability. It's also culturally, we feel very connected, and it adds to the auspiciousness. Now, this NGO plate bank, this is how it works. They have a plate bank of about 10,000 pieces, plates, tumblers, spoons, everything of different sizes. You have to just deposit about 10,000 rupees. pick it up from there. It's your responsibility to count and pick it up and use it, wash, clean, and wipe it and bring it back and give it to them. They'll give you the deposit back, which means it is completely free service. If you have lost something or something is damaged, then they charge you very, very little. So I think for us, the whole cost of this cutlery was just about 200 or 300 rupees because we had missed out something. But if you just go to this NGO and see, you're amazed. And I believe that there are more people in this space, but I knew of Adamya Chetana and I felt very connected. I thought this is fitting into our overall scheme of minimal waste wedding, and that's why we use this sustainable catering practices. We had also told the caterer who prepares the food that his people should serve water everywhere. And even in that large space in the venue, we did not have water bottles. We had large water bins, and if people wanted, they would go and pick up water from there. So when everybody came with a mindset that they are attending a wedding which is different and which is being done with a purpose, I think it was the mindset which worked. People were cooperative and they were also appreciative. What did we do about gifting? I think all of us, when it is an event, especially a wedding, we want to gift something. Now, if you look at this, many of you may not be very familiar with this, but in South India, what we do as a return gift, apart from what we want to do, it is generally for the ladies, we give haldi kumkum and we also give something called tambula. Tambula is we give a coconut, we give betel leaves. These are all representing auspiciousness. So we give all of that in a small bag. Normally what you tell and you also give some sweets. Now, what does the caterer do? He just picks up a plastic cover. Everything is dealt with in bulk, and then they just dump everything in plastic covers. You carry a plastic cover back. Many times we reuse that, but finally it also has to be somewhere thrown away. So what I did was, one of my client, he had told me long time back that if there was a need, he can get these stitched. So if you see, all of these are handloom cloth made by artisans. There are women who are sitting at home and stitching up all of this. These were all in colorful bags that we got. We put the coconut and whatever else we wanted to give, flowers, we wanted to give betel nut, we wanted to give sweets, everything went into this. So this was again, this was, it's a cloth, right? So it is not plastic. It replaced the non-degradable carry bags. Now, return gifts also, we made sure we use all carry bags, which are paper carry bags. And this is something I thought through for a long time. I was discussing with the other side also, what kind of gifts should we give? Should we give us something to wear to be used? Because today, most of the gifts that we give are just passed on. Nobody ever is going to use it, or we don't even go to any wedding expecting that there is a gift. So what I did, one of my clients has this online place where we get these grow bags. They were of different sizes. So I picked a handbag, a grow bag, and also picked small seed packets. And we made sure that there was a small card in that on how to place this, how to plant these seeds also. So I got this in bulk and made sure this entire thing goes into this paper bag, which is here. Now, this was the return gift that I had. And I'm very happy to share that many of them, after a few months, they sent me pictures saying, look here, this is what we have grown. This is the fruit. This is the vegetable that we have grown after your son's wedding. And it is doing fantastic. Our terrace has become green. So that gave me a lot of joy. It also said the purpose with which I was thinking of doing a minimal waste green wedding is served. So if you really want to put your mind and heart, you can pick up any such wedding gifts which are meaningful, which will last. Nobody is going to ever give this away to anybody else. So this is something that we tried. Yes, this is very important. I spoke about venue, spoke about card, I spoke about cutlery, I spoke about food, I spoke about gifts. Now, have you ever heard, we talk about decorators, we talk about dressmakers, we normally think of jewelers, we also think of return gifts makers. We think of so many people. We also think of caterers. We think of people who are providing us venue conveyance for the venue, your cars, your cab drivers. We think about travel agents. We think about hoteliers who can give us place to stay if you have guests. But I don't think most of you will have thought of partnering with a waste management partner. Friends, this is what we did. And fortunately for me, Shankara Foundation as a venue also had mandatorily a waste management partner, which again was my client called Hasirudala Innovations. They are very well known in Bangalore. and they do a lot of event management, waste management at events, right from marathons to sports to runs to many other things. They also do for wedding events. So we picked up this waste management partner. How did it help? It helped us in generating, segregating the waste into wet, dry, garden, and non-recyclable waste. And then this wet waste was converted into biogas and fertilizers. Then there was a social impact through the workers who were working. And the garden waste, which was there, was composted for farming. How am I saying all this? In the next few slides, you will see a report from them. But even here, we spent a lot of time having number of meetings with the waste management partners, program officers, because they also said the way we segregate the food. For example, if we are eating on a banana leaf, those of you who have eaten on a banana leaf, you will know that on the table, there is a paper which is rolled out. On that, there is a banana leaf which is there. And once the food is over, once the meal is over, it is easy for workers who are cleaners to just roll that paper along with the banana leaf. So here they were very clear. They said, please allow us to do some things. There are certain SOPs we are following, standard operating procedures and practices. We make sure to separate the paper itself from the banana leaf. Why? Because this banana leaf with the food would go to cows, which would go to some, cattle, they could be fed, and paper goes to a different kind of recycling unit. So that was the level of planning that we had done. And any excess food which was there, I was also told that if it is within half an hour, there are agencies. For example, in Bangalore, you have a Robin Hood army. So you just call them, they come pick it up and make sure the food is distributed to people who are hungry, because anything beyond 30 minutes, again, the food may have got spoiled. So we had everything in place, including this waste management partner who made sure that ours really becomes a, circular economy wedding. So I'll take a few minutes to share with you this report. So if we think only, you have a CSR, a social impact assessment report, we had an impact report for the wedding ceremony of my son Chirag with Anisha. Now, a little bit about Hasiru Dala. It's a not for loss. It's a not for profit. It's a not for loss social enterprise, and it is creating what it does. Hasiru Dala in Kannada means Hasiru is green and Dala means team. So it's a team of workers, and they call themselves micro entrepreneurs, and they are also called as, they are empowered micro entrepreneurs. They are also partners in the business. Now, what do? They help them to create predictable, sustainable livelihoods for waste pickers and informal waste workers. And I think there has been a huge change, a revolution in the way many of them are living. And I am happy to tell you that some of them have even been sent to UN to sit at the table and discuss some of these initiatives. That's the kind of massive transformation which agencies like Hasiru Dala has been able to bring. So they do a total waste management for bulk generation of waste, event waste management, all of that they do. You can go to their website and see what else they are up to. What is their mission? Inclusive circularity. See, when we talk about circularity, circular economy, we all think we can do, somebody else can do, or businesses can do. But this is the only organization I have seen where they've used the word inclusive, because at their core is the ethos and their innovative circular economy business models, which help create a waste-free world and transition waste pickers to green professionals. Hasiru Dala is green professionals because they are the core of their business, and they have hundreds of them. And this is a deliberate and planned inclusion of waste pickers as an integral part of the evolving circular economy value chain. So you may be thinking, we can't be part of all of this, but small little choices that we make can impact somebody else's life, because they are impacting our lives, they are impacting our society. This is their statistics. This is about, I think this is 22 or 2022 or 2023. They had their sustainability report, and I think from that they have picked up. But this is the kind of impact that they are doing: 300 predictable lives, 60 plus micro waste entrepreneurs, the kind of tons of waste that they are diverting, and the income that they are generating. So they call themselves as partnerships with micro waste entrepreneurs. They ensure fair market price. They follow all the standards, and they claim that the waste pickers have gone from day-to-day survival in the past to aspiring own homes, and they have made a change. They have made a change in their lives. It's actually a transformation on how those families have evolved. Now, this specific is from the wedding of my son, what's the kind of wet waste which was generated, what was the kind of garden waste. That's why the segregation part is very, very important. If you recall in the slides initially, I had said about 800 to 1500 kgs of waste is generated because of many of our own initiatives. If you see, the waste generation itself is very less. It was 800 to 1500, but here you can see the kind of waste which is generated. This was again reprocessed. What was done? Wet waste was sent to one of the biogas facility where it was anaerobically digested to produce bio-CNG. So it goes as a slurry or it goes as a renewable source of energy for cooking. Now garden waste, what happens? It goes for composting and then it is given away to farmers. What did they do with dry waste? All the recyclable dry waste which was there was again sent to their aggregation center and there was a recycling stream. Now PET, which is there, though I said we asked people not to bring bottles or we did not supply, but still there were elements of plastic. It was not 100% plastic free. So PET was recycled to buttons, and this is I think HUL has partnered with them to make sure that the buttons which they use, the bottles which they supply are getting repurposed and recycled into buttons for fashion industry. Now other plastics and metals, they are all recycled in different places. Paper is again sent for recycling. Flex is sorted based on size, and I've also talked about a trust for the patchwork and turned into waste collection bags. If you go to their website, you will see there are so many tarpaulins which are made. People without a shelter on their head, they are using this. So this is all donated to the low income groups. Now, non-recyclables, if there are any, they are sent to cement kilns for co-processing. Now, if there are any reject waste that cannot be processed at all, then it goes to landfills. If you see, by way of elimination from wet waste, garden waste, dry waste, reject waste, all of it has been segregated and processed in its own way. All of them are scientifically processed. Something which cannot be processed at all goes to the scientific landfills. And all of us have been seeing pictures of our cities, urban centers where large patches of land have become landfills and they are causing a lot of illnesses. They are causing emissions to people in and around them. So at least I have a solace that by employing a waste management partner like Hasirudala, my responsibility, our responsibility to some extent has been fulfilled, that we have reduced the landfill. Now, the waste process, this is all the statistics. What was the waste which was processed? 95% went to landfills. What was the waste pathways which was used? Whatever I told you, this is all the statistics which is there. Environmental impact, we talked about CO2 emissions. Now, what kind of emissions were avoided? This is the kind of report that we got, what kind of landfill we had. So this analogy, I found it very useful. What do we mean by, because for us 1.91 m cube or 336 kg really doesn't make sense. So if you look at this, this is equivalent to carbon stored by 0.40 acres of forests in a year, or 5.55 trees planted and maintained for 10 years, or there's a monthly carbon footprint of at least one Indian household, or 1,385 kilometers driven by an average petrol powered car, then light commercial trucks filled with waste, or average size bedrooms filled with waste till the ceiling. Can you imagine of an average sized bedroom which is filled with, see this, I'm talking about statistics which is just from one wedding which was thoughtfully done. Imagine, when we don't apply any thought and we just look at the celebrations and we want to look at the best possible thing that we give to our children, look at the kind of waste which is generated. So this was the environmental impact which was avoided. Yeah, like I said, it went to the bio-CNG, it went to the slurry, and the slurry acts as a natural fertilizer free of chemicals. So this was another point I remember where Chasirudra had told us, for all the washing and the washing the ingredients that you use, whether for washing your hands or washing the dishes in the marriage venue, they said please use chemical free, and they made sure that they told us what exactly to be bought, because then the water which is used also can be channelized into plants and into the trees, and they made sure that there is no chemical residuary in that also. So that's the kind of efforts that was taken. Now, what's the social impact? You can see people cleaning out there in the venue. This number doesn't look very huge, friends, but this is only for one event. 400% increase in monetary benefits. Obviously, they are all paid. They are on the payroll, and they not only get paid and they clean, they also give us joy by helping us to have an environmental free wedding. And lot of women there. So if you are looking at some way, you want to be part of it, you want to contribute to women's welfare, women empowerment. This is, and trust me, all these women who are self-employed, who are micro entrepreneurs, many of them have been able to buy vehicles. Right? They have been able to make houses, they have been able to educate their children. So there is a shift in the way that they are evolving and their families are having better conditions to live. Now, you may ask, where did they get all this from? This is a report which I have got from them, and they have also given us what is the primary source of the emissions data, what are the conversion factors, and what are the standards that they are using. And because they are a certified agency, it is not that they just put some figures together. They are a funded startup. And they have won many awards. Since they're my client, I know the kind of efforts and the kind of passion which both the founders have. And if any of you wants to reach out to them, please reach out. But this was a report that I got from Hasirudala. So when I said we started with sustainability, SDG goals, started about circular economy, and I said we need to have sustainable weddings. I thought when you want to embrace circular economy, it's a good way if I can share my own experience, and that's what it is. And like all of you know, what gets measured gets managed. So if it is not measured, you don't know. I can claim many things. So at the end of it, when the report came, I was happy for whatever it is worth. I know we have a long way to go, but I think this is our citizen social responsibility. This is what I want to focus on, because this is again fitting it into your Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam philosophy that you have for the sustainability board. Again, I want you to enjoy one earth, one family, one future. This was G20 when India had G20 presidency. This again from the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this was extracted from that one earth, one family, one future. So for just a few moments, enjoy. Again, going back to this wedding venue and this beautiful music before I conclude. So if you see, all of this was natural material which we had. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation, my sharing. All of you know wedding. What does a wedding mean? Where two souls take a vow to lead a life of love, care, and compassion, right? What about Mother Earth? She is the one who has given us life. Doesn't she need some too? Can we all take a similar vow for her? To love her, to care for her, and to show some compassion in the way we live. Because this, we are not doing it for us today, we are doing it for the future. We have a responsibility towards the future. If you believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, I think these are small little things that we need to do. With this, I come to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, great. I mean, it was really great. Thank you. Thank you so much. But there are a few questions which I wish to learn from you. What challenges did you face while organizing this wedding, and how you overcome them without compromising the aesthetics of the traditions?
Yeah, I think I have answered that. The challenges were, I think first thing is the mindset. Because if you ask me whether the couple were very interested, yes, they were interested, but their focus was not on that. They wanted to make sure that they have celebrations, that they have their friends, that they have the right things. But both of them are lawyers, and both of them were conscious that they didn't want to splurge money on unwanted things. There is a basic understanding. But like I mentioned, in a wedding, you have both the families, right? And sometimes you have extended families. In ours, it was okay because the decision making comes from too many people, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts. Everybody wants to have a say in the decision making. In ours, it was fairly simple. It was just the two families. I convinced the girls' parents also, saying that I want to do this. So why don't you? So what happened was, when we chose the gifts, they also agreed. They said, let us go with the grow bags. Let us go with this cutlery. Let us go with this. So when we called the caterers also, we made very clear, what is our intention, including the decorator who was there. So we chose a decorator who could understand all of this. Since the venue itself was already towards a sustainable, they had this purpose of promoting sustainability. It it became easy for us. So the challenges, only these were the challenges which were there. But sometimes I'll tell you, you may have to spend a little bit more because, for example, engaging with the waste management partner, it doesn't come free, right? Because he's a vendor and that's a business for them. I had to spend about 30,000-40,000 for him to take all these actions, give me a report, but I felt it was worth it. So first is the mindset change, and then making sure that you plan elaborately, you bring in every small element into it, because it's not just one part of it. You bring a lot of it into it, take everybody. So it's an inclusive initiative. That's what I would say, and make sure that it happens. And guests also make sure that they are also agreeing to this. Places like Bangalore, people are, they are socially responsible. They are open to some of these initiatives. So I wouldn't say it was much of a challenge, but sometimes, going and trying to find the vendor, going and trying to identify which kind of handloom bag I have to use, which kind of, where should I do? You don't have ready sources for this. And I didn't employ any third party agency. I was doing many of this alone. So that was, but let me tell you, I enjoyed it. I had fun doing all of this.
And the venue was very well decorated.
Yes, it was completely plus.
Traditional.
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
It was beautiful, and because it was a December wedding, and the sun was very mild, so throughout people could sit in the morning and evening also. There is a different kind of decoration.
Yeah. Ma'am, do you think any policy incentive or certification such as green event recognition could motivate more families and even event organizers to adopt circular practices in weddings?
Yeah, see, sometimes, Aditi, I feel that's what I was thinking. Do we need a regulation for everything? See, you and I, we are coming from these professions of cost accountancy, company secretary, chartered accountancy. We are coming from a corporate background, right? We are always looking at, is there a regulation? Then I will follow, or is there an incentive? So that's what I'm saying. Maybe we may have to go beyond that. So if we make these practices voluntary and we get passionate about it and we are able to see what it is worth for, I think even without looking at incentives, maybe people can say if there is a green wedding, I think the vendors should get some GST exemption, or they should get some reduced GST. Anything could be there. I don't know whether GST is, at a differentiated rate on some of these products. It is not. But even before or without waiting for any incentives from the government or regulatory, I think it should become a people's movement. While celebrations are there, if it becomes a people's movement, and I think it should start with the couple.
Yes.
Then today, if you see, all couples are the ones, they are choosing destination weddings, they are choosing the photographer, they are choosing how it should be on Instagram. So if it comes from them, then it becomes a lot easier. That's what I see. But I'm sure government also should take some action. May not be for wedding alone, but for events. If you see, if you look at all the marathons, see, many of them are CSR events, right? Now, as part of CSR initiatives, people also may like to showcase that this is a green certified event. For example, Sirudala is a event management partner for Mumbai 10K, for Bangalore. There are so many that they have done. Now, if it is also getting certified like that, then it is attractive to corporates also, that events could be certified and then they feel motivated to contribute. But like I said, it should be a people's movement is my belief.
Right. How can educational institutions or professional bodies play a role in spreading awareness about these sustainable celebrations?
I think we have a lot to do, Aditi. I think all of us, we both belong to sister institutes. We have so many conferences, right? Now, webinar is one way. This is a digital one. We are reducing the footprint, though we are using technology. But wherever we have conventions, we have conferences, we have seminars, we could say no to water bottles. We could say no to bouquets. I think we did that in Bangalore to a large extent. ICSI also for some time they were doing, we're just giving, instead of bouquets, we replaced it with flower pots, small plants, saplings which are there. That was there. Then we said no to water bottles. We had only copper or steel glasses on the table. In fact, I was speaking to you about Adamya Chetana, right? That NGO which gave us that steel bag. So Tejaswini Anant Kumar, she is the wife of Anant Kumar, who was a union minister. So she has a cotton bag with her always, and she carries her steel a flask. She has a steel bottle. In fact, let me also share with you, I attended a CSR summit as part of Malabar Group, where I'm on the board. There was Times of India and Malabar Group. They had come up with a day-long, 2 days a CSR convention in Mumbai just a few months back. So the concluding session, we had, Diya Mirza. Actor, no? Diya Mirza.
Yes,
she was there. I think most of you may be aware, she's such a strong votary for environment and for green and conservation. She was carrying her steel water bottle. And she came proudly, you know how actors are. She's a celebrity. There were so many people around her. Photographers were all around her. She was not mindful. She didn't feel shy or, inhibited about carrying this water bottle. She carried that water bottle. She placed it on the table. So that's a messaging which is coming from a celebrity. So all of us think. See, if you see our parents used to do all this. We didn't have plastic. We were doing this, but slowly we have moved to this. So I found her, she said, this is something that I do always. I carry my own water bottle. Even if I'm in any international event, I always carry my water bottle. I'm just giving Diya Mirza's example, but I think we can do many things from institutes. If from your sustainability board itself, if these are things, see, for example, we always say the culture is set at the top. Yes. The board is the one which sets the culture at the top. If you're looking at corporate culture, right? And if these are, it should not be just ESG practices for the company, or it should not be only for a BRSR report. I think it should be in how you are conducting your business, how you are dealing with people, how is your HR practices, how are your finance practices? Can you bring all of this into this? So whether it's a corporate or our institute, once the Central Council makes up their mind that there are small little things, can we all think of how do we make sustainable practices? I'm sure we can do wonders, because this is only 1 or 2 minds thinking. If you think collective thinking which happens, I'm sure we'll be able to do a lot, and we send a messaging. I think there's no point just writing an ESG paper, passing an exam, or saying I'm an ESG practitioner. ESG practitioner is how much are you practicing in your life? If that becomes a core and you internalize, so this is a messaging which I'm sure professional institutes, ministries, I feel should start doing in different ways. And there are different ways to do it. And of course, there are consultants to help us with everything. They're making a business out of it. You just need the heart. And as cost accountants, I'm sure you will be able to tell us what is the value here, you're deriving. What is the cost reduction you're doing? What is the value you're deriving out of all of this?
And I think, ma'am, your example can be a case study, and it can be promoted for future wedding celebrations also.
Correct. I mean, people, there are quite a few people who are doing it, but I think that should become a choice and it should become a priority.
Yes. Right. Ma'am, there is another question from one of our viewer. That he has said that is the government aid to waste pickers humans is active? And is there any government aid to waste picker human?
See, again, I think what do we mean by aid? The moment we say we'll give you some aid, or we'll give you some grant, or we'll give you some freebies because you're a waste picker, I'll give you free housing, I'll give you some free education, or I'll give you free transport. I think the economics of it will not work. Am I right, Aditi? If you look at the economics of it, anything given free, nobody will value it.
Yes.
For example, including webinars, including seminars for the CPEs, we also give it free. People will not value. The moment you put a price to it, a small price tag, then people will value, because they feel we are getting something out of it. I'm just saying that on a lighter note, but I believe when you say aid, I think it is better to look at the word empowered. Are you looking at them as partners? Are you looking at them as the core of your business? Are you looking at them as, micro entrepreneurs? Can you make them micro entrepreneurs? The word micro entrepreneurs, because they stand on their legs, they become sustainable. Their families become sustainable. One single woman earning, I think she realizes the value of money. She realizes the value of financial independence. She realizes the value of education for her children. And they make sure that they don't get them married off. There are a lot of ripple effects which are there. So I think more than aids which government can give, I think they should create an environment, they should create an ecosystem where they are made inclusive. Where speakers are also becoming inclusive. Otherwise, if you see all these kabaddi wallas, we just shoo them away, right? We don't treat them with dignity and respect. Only when we realize what they are doing like this for us, they will get a life of dignity.
Right.
That's my take.
Yes, I totally second you. Ma'am, so what do you think? Can it be promoted as social awareness? You were talking about like corporate social responsibility, like us, it's our responsibility, right? So can it be promoted like that? But then again, it comes like than to injecting it's good than to imbibe rather than injecting. But do you think any awareness program is required for this?
Correct. I think awareness programs definitely can help. I think the moment you make anything as a mandate, no, Aditi, there will be a resistance, right? The moment you make a mandate, there become resistance. But if people in the society whom we look up to, if there are celebrities, or it need not even be celebrities, if there are leaders, I mean, in our own institute, if there are leaders who are looked up to at the top, and if they build in these practices, then I think slowly a revolution will set in. There is a lot of things happening on the ground. If you look at this sector, especially the not-for-profit, the green sector, there are many products, but it is not mainstream still. Because what I have seen also, since they are my clients, I know many of these people, they don't get funded enough. Though there are philanthropies are there, but then there are impact funders which are required. So the issue will be in how they scale up. So while the products and services availability is equally important, I think awareness programs have to be done, and I think we should walk the talk. Unless we walk the talk as leaders, people will not follow. But in our own way, in our neighborhood, in our communities, in our schools, colleges, institutes, everything in small little ways, if we start doing it, I think there will be a collective impact.
So, well, I mean, lot more we would want to know, but then our time is getting short. So, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for.
I think you are on mute, Aditi.
It must be the network issue, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable look.
Yeah.
Aditi, we lost you. I think there was a network issue.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I just wanted to thank you. It was a great session, ma'am. I mean, it was a great session and we all loved it. I don't know whether you can see the chat bot, but lots of praises and applauses are coming from our viewers. And thank you very much, ma'am. It was a great session.
Thank you. I can't see it, but I will go by what you say. And I feel happy if the message has gone out. If more people try to do in their own way, that is the only thing which we can do. We keep multiplying. There should be a multiplier effect. That's all I would ask for.
Right. Now I would ask Pragya, Seme Pragya Negi for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Pragya.
Okay. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion of the 42nd webinar of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series organized by the Sustainability Standard Board of the Institute. First and foremost, our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Ms. S.C. Shada ma'am, for an enlightening and thought-provoking session on the theme Earthy Wedding Embracing Circular Economy. Your insights have beautifully illustrated how sustainability and celebration can go hand in hand, inspiring us all to rethink our choices with a greener perspective. We thank our President CMA TCS Srinivasa Prasad sir and Vice President CMA Neeraj Joshi sir for their unwavering support and guidance. Special thanks to CMA Dr. Ashish P. Thate sir, Chairman of the SSB, for his dedicated leadership, and to all the board members for their continuous contributions. Heartfelt appreciation to the SSB team, Dr. Kimi Theresa, Secretary of SSB, CMA Dr. Aditi Das Gupta ma'am, Joint Director of SSB, for their hard work and coordination. We also acknowledge the excellent support of the IT and PD departments for making this webinar possible. Finally, thank you all to all the participants for your enthusiastic presence and engagement, which keeps the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam thriving. Thank you once again, and we look forward to welcoming you at future sessions.
Thank you. I think special thanks to Pragya, because I had troubled her quite a lot in the morning when I could not log in properly for the demo session. There is something new I learned, that there's a different way of logging in without getting an invite. There's a learning for me. Sorry, Pragya, if I had got a little bit upset with you, but you made it flawless and very seamless for me. Thank you very much for all your support. And once again, thanks to your sustainability board for this wonderful initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.